When we put a map all together as we would on a piece of paper or on a screen for a web map, we have to think about how all of the map elements combine. And when we talk about map elements, we talk about all of these things. We talk about the map itself, the main map in this case, the title of the map. We talk about the map scale, a north arrow. Maybe we have another map on the same page as the main map, which might be an inset map or a more detailed map. We have the legend, and then we have other sorts of information about the map. These would be all of the different map elements. So not only do we have to make the map itself in GIS, but we have to lay out all of these map elements in a way that's pleasing for people when they look at the map. One thing to kind of remember is the difference between all these boxes on a map. So we can kind of think of this, if we think about this as a piece of paper, this outline here represents the edge of that piece of paper. Inside of there, we might have this thing called a frame line, which contains everything that we're going to show on the map or maps. And in this case, we have three different maps on our inside of our frame line. This one that looks like a globe here, this one that shows a straight line from Oslo to Rio, and this one that shows where the various 2016 Olympic athletes came from. And as we can see, each one of these maps kind of ends very abruptly. For example, this one here along this purple line here. That's what we would call a neat line, the edge of the mapped area, which can be different than the map frame, or the frame line, which is this outer black line that we see here. And maps can sometimes be playful with this. For example, the edge of the page, the map edge, or the edge of the page, the edge of the layout, and the map frame might be considered the outside of this brown area here. But if this is our neat line here, in this case here, at least one coffee bean is kind of spilling over the edge of the neat line. So we do all these things in order to establish these boundaries, but sometimes with map making, then we just go ahead and break through those boundaries anyways. This shows another example here, kind of with inset maps and locator maps. We have a locator map that's shown here. On that locator map, we have a little brown box. On that brown box, we see that area in this big area in the south of the map here. And then on that map, we see a box outlined by a dashed brown line, same brown color. And that shows us an even more detailed area around in part of Tanzania and Zanzibar. And then the name of the town here, which is shown as the biggest brown element on these maps, ties back into the name of the location, which is being mapped here. So it all kind of, even though it's three different maps on a page, and this could be considered the main map, and this is an inset map, and this is a locator map, it all works well together because of the shades of gray tied together with just this little bit of color that really draws our eye and tells us what this map is all about. So some of the other map elements we have on the map are a scale bar, and there's plenty of different options for choosing a scale bar. For example, in ArcGIS Pro or ArcMap. One thing to remember though, when we typically put a scale on our map, depending on how big we draw the box, it may not be the most even breaks in numbers. So we might get something like this or something like this where it goes, into divisions of 360 and 180 here, which isn't we'd prefer to use round numbers. So something better would be something like this, or something really good would just be make it a nice round number. Keep it something that people can easily measure, get an idea of what the distance is on the map, and that's probably the easiest for people to understand and show that you've taken a little time in order to customize your map. There's also a lot of north arrows we can put on a map, and in addition to north arrows, the other thing that can indicate which way north and north, south, east, and west are lines of longitude and latitude if we include those on a map. And usually those are put on bigger maps, and then we don't need to use a north arrow. Map legends tell us what all the different symbols on the map means. This is from the U.S. Forest Service, and we can see all the different types of roads and trails and land covers by the various patterns and changes with the visual variables that are used on the map. With a bivariate map, we use two different color schemes. And in this case here, you can see in the lower left, the color schemes are being combined. And we're basically just blending two colors in order to show all of the different colors in this color scheme here. And we can see in this case it is where insured people are and people giving donations. And we can see the patterns of where both of those things are high or both of those things are low, or where just one of those is high. It's nice to keep these kind of legends fairly simple because there's so many colors on this map. It's just easier to work out that way. And sometimes we try to tie our legend into our labels. So in this case here, when we're looking at the Charlotte area transportation system, we can see that local routes are shown by green lines with little green boxes with numbers in them, and then express routes are shown by red lines with red boxes with white numbers. In both cases, the labels are white, but their background is either green or red, depending on whether it's an express route or a local route. And this makes it very easy to look at the map, see where the local routes are, see what number bus you would be looking for, and be able to find your way around very easily with this.